Welcome, everyone. We're talking about what financial advisors are not telling you about building wealth in 2024. So join us. I'm running a little bit behind because I have been talking to our investors that are joining us in Zanzibar in 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks. So we're deciding to sell a day pass now and virtual option. So I want to jump in here and just give people the opportunity to learn more, ask more questions. I'm going to be sharing the link in the comments. I want you to be able to get your questions answered. Who should be joining us, and what are some things that you're concerned about for your investor portfolio? Are you talking to a financial advisor? First of all, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is just my experience of being in the finance space for myself, building my own portfolio, and now doing so on the continent of Africa, right? So, hello, everyone. Greet me in the chat if you want to be greeted. Instagram does not want us to be great. LinkedIn does not want us to be great. I scheduled lives to go on there, but it seems like they aren't going through. So please like the stream if you find it valuable. Yes, I'm back in Joburg, and I am going to be sharing the link for you to join us to ask your questions live. All right. There's a strategy that the financial advisors are not telling us, and they're not telling this to you about building wealth. And I think a lot of it is because we are now entering into a new system, right? Where the norm is totally new. It's a new system. And nobody understood Bitcoin when Bitcoin came about. Nobody understood, the internet. Nobody understood these people that were sharing online, getting on YouTube and sharing experiences, right? Until these things became $50 billion industries. And so I don't want my family getting left behind. I don't want the community getting left behind. So we're here to share strategies that the advisors are not sharing with you. Hi, Nzali. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks, Mike. Thank you for joining the stream. Please like the stream. And if you want to join, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to join in a few. We'll be sharing the link in a few, but I need you to be subscribed to the content. I need you to be sharing this content, and I need you to be showing that you are finding it valuable, right? So yes, hi Kemi, welcome, 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 welcome. All right, so what is the strategy that advisors do not want to be, that they don't want to tell you? Well, one, they don't want to really tell you that traditional investments that have always been safe, right? Like US bonds are no longer as safe as they once were, right? There was an article about China selling off its bonds, its US bonds earlier this year, right? 42.6 billion worth of long-term securities consisting of treasury, agency, corporate, and other bonds. This is from Bloomberg, right? So this isn't, let me see if I can show this. I want to share my tab, right? So let me share my tab. Okay. Oh, can you guys see it? Okay, perfect. You can see it. You can see it. So this is Chinese investors dump. Oh, I gotta pay record amount of US stocks and bonds. Well, I just saw it because I am subscribed to Bloomberg, but I'm not signed in, and I don't want to do that now. Let's see. Oh, well. Well, guys, I tried. Google this. Maybe you can find it. Maybe you can find another version. Here is the blip that it gave us back in July, right? So this was earlier this year. 42.6 billion worth of these long-term securities. And long-term securities are like 10, 30 years, right? So they're talking about, oh, the mortgage prices have gone down. The rates, right? They've gone down. Those are long-term fixed securities, oftentimes. And they're saying, get excited, buy homes again. These are traditional investments. Meanwhile, countries are offloading US debt, right? And these are the same debts that we buy into when we buy into securities. And we're seeing the infrastructure in the US is just not. And typically, these bonds, right, and these securities, these long term securities are meant for infrastructure development. We're seeing buildings collapse, we're seeing places explode, we're seeing cities flooded. The infrastructure is clearly not being maintained with the money that was intended for these long-term securities, and foreign investors are pulling out. And I don't want us to be left behind, right? Is this making sense? Are you guys finding value in it? Again, I am not an advisor. I'm an economist. I read this stuff. I get excited about this stuff. I'm also not about doom and gloom, right? That's also not what I'm about, but I'm about education and sharing opportunities with you that your financial advisors are not sharing. I know, because my financial advisor is not sharing them with me. I'm sharing them with him. I'm sharing the opportunities that are existing on the continent of Africa with him and his family. He's like super blown away. Right. So, what are the other things that these long term securities, these traditional assets investments are not as stable, is not as traditional as far as what we need to be doing moving forward as we once were doing them? Why is this? The world is changing. Migration is happening at an all time high. People are immigrating into Africa at higher numbers than they ever have been. And why is that? We are so focused on immigration in the US, and I get it. It is a very sensitive topic for Americans, the borders. It's something very politicized often. And it's really interesting how it works in other countries as well. But people are emigrating out of Western societies, but instead they're making us focus on who's coming there. And I'm seeing it on my side here, right? I see articles here in South Africa that are like, go to the US and make this much money, right? So it's not that people are coming in without America saying, come, right? And the job market in the US is what it's looking like. It's because they're hiring people and they're paying them typically less than they would pay Americans because they can't. Right. So this thing around traditional process, traditional work, traditional employment, traditional education that were once the strategies of our parents, of us, right? Like I got several degrees. I did all that stuff. I did the certifications. But it's not necessarily what the future is looking like and what the advisors are telling you. So they're not talking about the immigration into the continent that is at historic highs, people coming from all over the world. I was out last night. Matter of fact, my South African family, please say hello. Please pop in. I was out last night and I'm at a restaurant, and it was at kind of like a dance party for my South Africans, Poppies on Cresta, right? Poppies and Cresta. And I'm sitting around a table with people from Ghana, from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Paris, from the US. We're all like here in South Africa enjoying a night out. And we actually all work or are connected. Like it's my work friends from WeWork. And so we're all, young lady from the Netherlands in her 20s was like, no, I no longer want to live here, in her 20s. And she's figuring it out. All the way up to someone in their 70s that's like, I'm leaving the UK and I'm figuring it out. Right. So the strategy is changing. It looks different. It is not what it has always been. And so I just want to invite you to consider these other options. I was just having a call with the community of investors that's going to be joining me in Zanzibar. So excited to be able to host another group 2 years in a row. It's just wild that people are actually really finding value and are trusting me to guide them on this journey as I still learn as well, because I'm learning along everyone here as I'm sharing. But an amazing couple, and we're figuring it out and we're sharing our journey along the way. There's a lot of people that have been here in South Africa. Listen, and I'm not a pioneer, really. Like, I look like it because I'm online, but there are people that have been in South Africa for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, people in Ghana from the US, from the UK. They've been doing it. There wasn't necessarily popular outlets like YouTube then and social media then. And then also we just moved in silence because people were just giving us stress and we don't want to be bothered. Right. But we're all figuring it out. And shout out to Correct, Zali, and the Guba Diaspora Network that are creating pathways and saying, hey, listen, I figured this much out. I can get you this far. And I can get you this far, and what I can't get you to, I can connect you with some people that can take you to the next level. And that's essentially what the Africa Investors Academy is. That's essentially what the Travel Move to Business virtual conference series is. It's me helping you get to this point and saying, here are some other experts that can take you to the next level. But the strategy of living abroad, getting out of the US and paying off some of these debts, and saying, I got debt. I've got debt. I've got expenses that I need to pay. Student loan debt for those of us that are interested. I'm not. But, there was just a cost of living. There was credit cards and investment accounts and, loans that I took against my 401k. And I was like, I want to pay these down. How do I pay these down when the cost of living in the US is going up? Guess what? I don't focus on getting to zero, which is people saying, oh, I want to be debt free. Don't focus on getting to zero. Focus on earning more and spending less. When you think about that, your mindset will shift dramatically, because when you think about getting out of debt, you think I'm in a hole and I got to get to the top of the hole. Instead of saying, no, I'm exactly where I need to be. And I just need to learn how to earn more and spend less. And that strategy is getting out of the US so that you can actually not be so stressed out about bills all the time, but you can actually pay your bills with no problem, earn more money with less work, and then pay off those bills easily, right? While having a sense of ease and a level of peace that just doesn't exist when you're constantly on the hamster wheel, in the rat race, paying bills every month that are going up. I don't know what I saw, eggs or bread was $10. What? So the strategy is the currency hack. Stop while the dollar is still high, right? Because there is a historic decline of the US dollar that has been happening, right? It's not going to go to zero tomorrow, but it has just been historically declining over the past decade. And when I say declining, meaning its value abroad. So what it used to be, is the strength that it used to have 10 years ago is not the strength that it has today. And while it still has the strength, that it has today, maximizing that. And your life, your ability to live. How many of us have resonated with feeling like I'm just living to pay bills? If you have, put a 1 in the chat. How many of us feel like we're just going to work to pay the bills? If you can resonate with that, put a 1 in the chat. I've been there. And I was making over 6 figures a year. My household had been there. I mean, I was a really good saver, so I didn't spend a lot of money, but I grew up in that type of environment, that check to check environment, that there's never enough, that I'm just getting by, I gotta rob Peter to pay Paul, right? I grew up in that environment. And so a lot of us come from that, but we have an opportunity because now we have information. And now if we have passports, we have access to say, okay, I'm going to pop into this country and I'm going to look at living abroad so that I can pay down these bills and I can live my life. Because how many of us also know we have one take in this life? If we believe in the afterlife, great. But this life, we have one. And none of us are going to be here forever. So how many of us want to be living to work, right? I see you, Anthony. I see you, MP Ram. I see you, A. Yeah, like feeling like I'm just living to pay bills. What type of life? Does that lead to a life of stress, a life of heart disease, a life of diabetes, like just the things that we know all too well? We see them happening within our own families, within our communities, within ourselves, right? We deserve more. And that is a strategy that our financial advisors are not talking about to build wealth. I have taught myself how to earn more money, work less, and pay off debt faster than I would have been able to do so in the US. Luckily, I didn't have a lot of debt really. Um, but, I did have some. And I also knew what life could look like outside of the US. I was like, there's no way I'm going back. And I'm going to teach other people how to do it as well. All right. So was that helpful? If you want to join the chat, the question, if you want to join if you want to join the live, I'll put the link below. My glasses have been getting so big, guys, and I need them to get refitted because they keep sliding down. All right. What is the next strategy that financial advisors are not talking about building wealth? Well, that manufacturing, when we look at the GDP, right? America is the highest economy. Okay. Well, I think that's true. And I'm happy that that's true because for now, the USD is strong. But really, a country is strong based on its ability to produce, right? And the US is producing only weapons, right? So war has always been profitable for the US and will continue to be, which is why we see so many wars and proxy wars happening, because that is the only thing that is sustaining the US economy. So if you're invested in foreign defense funds and Boeing and all of those, your portfolio is doing great, right? But if we're looking at tech, if we're looking at manufacturing, if we're looking at automotive, if we're looking at, and also healthcare, right? Because people are sicker than they've ever been. So if you're invested in pharmaceuticals, you're doing great. But what does that really do to a society of people? It's driving mental illness through the roof, right? So you don't have a community of people that are effectively producing. People are just literally surviving. And you cannot produce in survival mode. You cannot create in survival mode. I know, I've been there. You can work to pay bills in survival mode, right? So that is the short-term benefit of investing in the US. The long-term benefit of investing in the US, I don't know if we know what that looks like. So let's get into markets where we see a younger population, where we see more land for production, more resources for production, more talent for developing and skill sharing, more space to roam, and do business. So looking at markets that are ascending, not declining, right? Which is the title of this talk, the title of the thumbnail is America is Declining. Whether you want to believe it or not, and this isn't because I hate America. I've got family in America. I've got a lot of money in America still. But I'm shifting my money to the continent and my energy and my physical body, right? I am divesting for time. Right. So this is a process. And Mervyn says, you wonder why wealthy Black Americans, African Americans aren't investing in Africa. Well, a lot of it is because access to information. The people that are telling us not to invest, that are creating fear in us, and it's working. The people that are creating these diaspora wars and these conflicts, because it's working, are the same people investing here. The people that keep this nasty content going on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, their offices are here. The owner of X is South African, right? YouTube, Google is here. Facebook is here. Amazon is here. They are here doing business, bringing talent over from the US to build their products and projects here. They're not building them in the US anymore, right? Like I have a friend that I went to dinner with last week. She's working on Amazon, launching their new retail spaces. The retail vibe in the US is What am I hearing? That you can't even go into Lenox now without being wanded? You can't go to the mall? That is not a way to live, right? That is survival mode, and you cannot create in survival mode. You can only spend. Spend your energy, spend your money, spend yourself, right? So those are the three things that I want to talk about in this live. The strategy that financial advisors will not tell you about building wealth. I forgot what number one was because I was really giving this off the top. But number one was that, the traditional safe investments are no longer traditionally safe anymore. The bonds, the securities, the long-term securities, those things are not safe. With China, one of the biggest holders of US securities, dumping 42, almost $43 billion earlier this summer. The next thing is the fact that, your ability to be able to spend less, earn more, instead of focus on getting to zero. Stop focusing on getting out of debt. Focus on earning more and spending less. Right? Like this get out of debt concept. And I talk to people and they're like, oh, I got to get out of debt before. No. Now, I'm not saying don't get out of debt, but I am saying don't focus on getting to zero. Focus on learning how to earn more and spend less. And the best way you can do that, going where your currency is stronger and your cost of living is lower. Financial advisors are not talking about that. And they're not talking about how investing in economies that are profiting off of a survival mode of people is not a long-term strategy. Being in countries where their only economic advantage is their ability to produce conflict is not a long-term strategy to success. It is actually the revelation that this is a declining economy because the people are not well, they're getting sick, they're stressed out, and they're financially capped. So you cannot create a productive society in that environment. So we need to look at shifting our capital elsewhere. And I'm not saying the only place is the continent. I'm just saying that's where I've chosen to do so. And I've chosen to do that with myself. I've chosen to do that with my family. And I've chosen to do that with my resources, time, energy, and money. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. I just be saying stuff, Reducing debt can make you more cash flow positive. Making more cash makes you cash flow positive. Right? But when you focus on debt instead of focusing on cash flow, your mindset is off, right? So let's focus on what feels good. You focusing, give me a one in the chat for anybody that when you focus on paying off debt, how does that feel? Now, when you get it paid off, yes, it feels great. But how much better does it feel? And this is also a mindset thing. It feels great for me to pay bills. It also feels great for me to receive money as well. But I think it feels really, 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 really juicy when I'm getting money incoming. But I have learned how to put energy out into the money that I'm spending. So, reducing debt can make you more cash flow positive, but earning more cash does actually make you cash flow positive. Right? So thanks, Joker, for that statement, but it's not actually the only way. And there are many ways to solve a problem. All I'm saying is, let's look at the environment in which we are trying to solve problems and say, is this the best environment for me to do this? And all I'm saying is these are strategies that I've implemented into my life, and I'm seeing positive outcomes, and I'm sharing them with you. And financial advisors are not sharing these outcomes because some of them don't know, but then also to some of them, it's not a best benefit, and it's also not what they're doing. Okay? So fantastic. Making money feels much better, right? That's just a fact. So yes, so I want to jump in. Let me see if I can. I'm going to share something with you guys. What's this one? Mm-mm. I don't think it's working. I wanted to show you guys the video, but we have opened up Travel, Move, Do Business. There we go. I'm so happy that worked out. So for people that want to join us for day passes, we have released some day passes, about 15 day passes for people that want to come for the day, the 20th to the 24th. I want you to know what you're going to get. So what you will get will be a VIP dinner, access to 2 days of the sessions, as well as access to the exclusive real estate tour. You will have to find your own accommodations, and you will also have to book your own flights. But that is what you will get for the that's what you will get for the day passes. I will present that. Let me see if I can share my screen with you all. And then I'm going to have you come on if you have questions, right? You can answer some questions. I'm going to kind of walk you through who should join us, who maybe shouldn't join us, if you have interest and you want to get here and you want to come. So let me can see. So this is the day pass. We've got the day pass for just 2 days. This does not include the VIP dinner, does not include the real estate tour, does not include exclusive networking, and does not include travel and accommodations, right? That's $395 for the day. The premium access is what I said and I talked about before. That includes the VIP welcome dinner, access to the 2-day summit sessions, a bonus session, which I am so excited about, but there's an amazing bonus session for people that purchase the premium access plus real estate tour pass. We have 15 of those. I think we've sold 3 so far, so maybe 12. And you can be in anywhere, in the US if you want to take a quick flight. But really, this is for people surrounding East African countries that have a desire. We really want you to come through. You'll get full access to the summit sessions, a guided real estate tour, as well as some one-on-one strategic time with our advisors and attorneys. And then we are opening up the virtual pass, which is Tuesday and Wednesday, the summit sessions for $295. You will get access to the 2-day summit. You will get to network online with people that are joining from all over the world, building connections with them, getting some trusted advisement, some trusted relationships that you'll be building on your own. And then everybody online will get a dedicated Q&A session specifically for people online, as well as 1 year access to the recording. So that's going to be for $295. All right. So who should come? Well, if you are interested, right? You've got some capital in the West, you've got some investments and you want to shift over, but you really want to be educated. You want to make educated decisions. There was a lot of things that I learned last year that I'm taking action on this year. I needed access to information. There were things I just didn't know about that I learned about last year. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready just yet, but I'm ready now. And so you want to get access to that kind of content, those type of informations, because we're not, the people that are coming to the summit personally. Yeah, we had last year, we had a couple purchase 2 villas worth $500,000 in total. Another woman entrepreneur purchased a villa. We had an attendee purchased a hotel for $2.5 million that he just closed on 2 weeks ago. It took him a while. It was a process, right? But they were building information, building relationships over time. Everybody doesn't need to do that. And then we had one person who didn't really take action at all, right? But she definitely got a plethora of information. Sorry, I'm looking at, yeah. So she didn't take action then, but she got a lot of information and insight into what things look like for her outside of the US. So that's what we really want to provide, right? Yes, there is a virtual option. And we shared that. The link is going to be I'll put it here in the chat, but as you guys know, it's all over my descriptions, all over my website, all over YouTube, all over my Instagram. It's also there. How long can you access the replays? 1 year. You get access to those replays for 1 year if you join virtually. Some people asked if they could donate a ticket. Absolutely. Purchase a ticket and send me an email and let me know you're not going to be able to make it, but you want to donate to someone that has an interest or that really needs this opportunity and maybe can't afford it, right? So that is absolutely an option. And if you want to get a donated ticket, you can send me an email, request for a donated ticket, and we're working through that. So that's a new part of our model where we're trying to make sure that we create opportunities for everyone to join this type of information. I already do that kind of within my community, the Africa Investors Academy, but I haven't announced that online because I've been trying to figure out how do I qualify people. And now we've got a system in place to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm also going to be giving the Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania sessions to virtual purchasers of the summit, of the Tanzania Investor Summit and Mastermind, right? You're not going to get the Mastermind piece with the Investor Summit because we're doing a lot of that intensive in-person over dinner. And those are going to be some really life-changing, transformative experiences that we want to allow people to, that's the advantage of meeting in person with community. So you won't get access to the Mastermind, but you will get access to the 2-day summit. And I'm also going to be giving people that purchase the 2-day summit the Travel, Move, Do Business Tanzania sessions and recordings as well. What speakers and sessions have we added? So I'll be sharing here first time. Let me pull up the agenda because I'm so excited about it. Yeah, I'm going to pull this up for you guys because it's lit. It's so lit. Oh, my team and I, we've just been working and there's so much content. All right. We've got the Mayor of Ministry and Trade of for the Zanzibari government. We've got April, who is our attorney, my personal attorney, as well as our advisor within Africa Investors Academy. That's going to be doing a lot of the facilitation around legal frameworks, around Zanzibar, recent changes that have been adapted. We've got ZIPA, the Zanzibar Investment PA Authority. What is P? Zanzibar Investment. ZIPA. Zanzibar Investment Promotion Authority, right? We've got them. We've got Absa Bank rolling out their mortgage product. So excited because traditionally mortgages have not been for the majority of people in Tanzania. Now, this is a product that I think is only for Tanzanian diaspora, but still, if you're a Tanzanian diaspora living abroad or in the country and you want to learn more about this, they're going to be presenting their new mortgage product at our investment summit. We're going to be talking about the opportunities around agriculture, tech, tourism, blue economy, small islands. Listen, Zanzibar, Tanzania specifically, saw a 49% increase in tourism from 2019 to 2024. The year isn't even over yet. A lot of people didn't count 2020 because of COVID, right? 2021 was that recovery year. But from 2019 to 2024, Tanzania has seen a 49% increase in tourism. If you are a tourism business, if you are you have a tourism business, a tour guide, you need to be looking at Tanzania. It makes sense. It makes fiscal sense. It makes spiritual sense. It makes financial sense. It makes business sense. You need to be looking at Tanzania for your tourism business, adding it because it is a destination that people are choosing over many. Zanzibar is getting chosen over the Maldives now, right? So it's a place that you need to be considering for your tourism business. Okay. We're going to talk about modalities of setting up investing in Tanzania, including immigration services. And we're talking about that, real estate investment opportunities, um, permits for, we've got Kevin from an architect that's going to be giving presentations on new builds, right? So we've got some developers that are going to be coming to present as well. It's so lit, and I'm so excited. And then we're going out into the island to be able to look at different developments, everything from what you could purchase for $100,000 all the way up to $500,000. And then also what those projections are going to look like for tourism driven real estate purchases, right? Meaning you are going to have a management company manage the property while you are not there to bring in passive income for you, done for you services, right? How does that sound? How does that sound? Put a 1 in the chat. Does that sound interesting? Are you interested in that? Is this up your alley? Why or why not? Let me know. Are there bonus sessions for the all access pass? There's a bonus session. I don't know. I'm going to talk about that yet. But if you have questions about that, let me know and we'll talk about it. How do you share this with other people? Send them emails. Send them emails. If you're not on my email list, head to Ashley and head to africainvestorsacademy.com. Get on my email list and you'll get emails and you can forward them along to other people. Let them know what's going on. Share it with them. And then how much to watch the sessions? It's all online. I think it was $295. All right. So I'm going to open up the line. Tiffany, yeah, let me know. It's up your alley. You're working on positioning yourself. What does that mean? What does that mean, positioning yourself? Are you getting access? Are you taking action? Let's talk about that. Positioning myself sounds like I'm doing the slow church walk, right? And that's okay. It could be a little slow, but what's the goal, right? I've seen some of your comments before. What is the goal? What is the question? What is the thing that is holding you back? So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. We are asking questions. I really want to hear your questions. And if you're finding valuable content from this conversation, support the stream. I've got some things listed below. Support the stream, right? Because the financial advisors are not telling you this information. A lot of it is because they don't know. But I'm telling you, and I'm telling you because I've learned it. I've worked in finance. I have my own financial portfolio based in the US, and I have my own portfolios outside of the US. And so I want to help you. So we're going to, if you want to join the live, I need you to have your camera on. And we're asking questions specifically about the Africa Investors Academy Summit for Zanzibar, Tanzania. We're also going to be talking about South Africa as well, mostly around real estate. But if you have questions more specifically to South Africa, then you want to look at the Travel, Move, Do Business South Africa conference that's going to be happening in November, which is also available via the description below. All right. So I want to see you. Come on. This is not something I've done, but I've been doing it over on Instagram. And I don't know why I started on Instagram, because my family on YouTube is way more lit and way more just been on this journey with me the longest, I feel. And I want to answer your question. So come on, join the stream. I need you to have on your camera. And we're asking questions about Tanzania and the summit specifically, right? So not necessarily questions about South Africa. We're not asking questions about any of that, but mostly Tanzania, investing, opportunities, maybe some of the challenges, what's holding you back from taking action? What are you afraid of, right? That's a real question. What was I afraid of for so long? I was afraid of investing my money and losing it. I was afraid of my family thinking I was a financial failure. I had to let that go, because I really looked at my family and was like, you guys haven't been the best mentors, and that's okay. I was fearful that I didn't know enough. I was fearful that what if this doesn't work, right? And I had to shift my mindset. What if this does work? What if I am so successful and I did my due diligence, right? Because I also have children and I have things that things I don't want to just throw everything out there. And I didn't cash out everything, but I slowly have been investing over $50,000 in the last 2 years, right? Of investing in education, investing in tools, resources. My first year doing this investor summit, I made no money. This year, I'm basically breaking even. This is not a financial revenue source, right? I'm literally breaking even on this opportunity, and hopefully in the third year we'll actually be positive. We'll make money from the summit, but ultimately, what I love is that people are finding value, so much so that one of our guests is sending her children, our guest from last year. So she's sending her adult children this year because she couldn't make it again this year. And then we have a returning guest from last year who purchased a hotel and is supporting the event through sponsorship because he was able to successfully acquire a hotel, utilize our attorneys. He had some other attorneys as well in the process, but to support him along the way. And those are the stories that I don't really get to share online because I don't want to make people feel obligated. Even though they are not obligated, they would share, they send me text messages. And I think my sis Lakitha is here. Yes. That's sharing her experience, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lakitha. I really appreciate you. It's been an honor to support you on this journey, and we're still working through it, but you're literally tackling that fear. So I want you guys to come up. Lakitha, come up. Maybe give a little, testimonial for the people. That would be amazing if you did. If you're not feeling up to it, I understand. But if you have questions about the summit, I really want to know. I want to answer your question. I need your camera on so I can bring you up, so I can know you're a real person and you're not going to do anything weird on the internet. In the meantime, I will bring up our sponsor, the Africa Investors Academy. Yes. So let's go over the things that financial advisors are not telling you about building wealth. Again, number one, traditional long-term assets that were traditionally safe in the US are no longer safe. Treasuries, bonds, debts. Those things are being dumped by foreign investors for a reason. Google it. I was trying to show you guys an article by Bloomberg, but there was a paywall and I didn't know. This one says 776 billion. So I don't know about that, but that's Investopedia. Wow. China sold a record 53.3 billion worth of US treasuries and agency bonds last quarter. This was May 2024. They're still dumping, right? So that's number one. Those bonds that are being invested for long-term, security, no longer a thing. So those savings accounts that are yielding 0.2%, they're a thing of the past. The next thing the next strategy that financial advisors are not telling you about building wealth, stop focusing on getting out of debt and focus on learning how to earn more money and spend less money, right? How do you earn more? How do you add skills to your toolkit? How do you figure out how to maximize your side hustle? You cannot do that in an environment where the cost of living is steadily increasing and the impacts, the inflation is also increasing. The way to currency hack your US dollar is to move to a country where you are able to spend less money while earning more money. And financial advisors are not telling you that. Financial advisors are also not telling you that the future of investing and development is not in the US, right? We have a population that is sicker than ever, medically, emotionally, mentally, politically. Right? And in that type of society, you cannot create productive people to grow an economy. Short term strategy of the US has been war, right? It is the only thing that is keeping the stock market afloat. The defense funds, the manufacturing of arms, these things are the only thing that America is creating and producing and exporting. And when you don't create and export goods, you can't sustain. And when you don't have a talent that is able to keep up with the global job market, right? The job market is nuts right now. Experts, I know, senior level, vice president, like making 300,000, seven figures, can't get jobs. Why? Because they're hiring foreigners and paying them an eighth, a tenth, a 15th of the salary. Because the education is also way more advanced abroad than it is in the US. The highest earning community of people in America are not Americans. And this is not a strategy that financial advisors are telling us. Okay. So these are strategies that I just want to share with you. I am not an investment advisor. This is not financial advice, investment advice. This is just information that when I talk to my financial advisor every year, every I'd say every quarter now, he's not talking to me about this. And I know many of you guys don't even have financial advisors. Not because you don't have money, but maybe you just don't have the awareness or you don't know how, right? You got tons of money in the bank, tons of money in a 401k, and you don't know what to do with it. And I'm telling you, the long-term strategy should not be to invest it in the US, in real estate. Don't do it. All right. Thank you so much, Royal Son of David. Yes, Michael, USA is a consumer, not a producer. How can you invest in Tanzania? You have a French bakery and a washing machine business. Amazing. So that means you're getting some passive income with a washing machine business? Is it a laundromat? Is it a laundrette? A laundriette? Let me know. But you can do many things. It depends on what's important to you. What is important to you? What type of return are you looking for? How active do you want to be in the business? How much time do you want to spend on the continent? How much time do you want to spend in Tanzania? These are things that are really important to know before getting in an investment strategy on the ground. But you can start by joining us at the Investors Summit in Zanzibar, the virtual version. The link is in the comments. I can bring it back up for you. Let's see. And you can learn from and learn all of the options. The trust. Now, when you talk about these trusts and these bonds in Tanzania, oh, I am in. Okay, I'm in there because the development that I've seen, Tanzania, bridges, roads, infrastructure, energy, water, I'm seeing it before my eyes. They're actually investing that money in those bonds. People are seeing 20 to 30% increase in their bond payments. Unheard of. Unheard of. And the United Tanzanian Trust Authority is going to be speaking at the Investor Summit. And this is one of the most lowest risk investments. I mean, every investment has a risk, but this is one of the lowest, in my opinion, because I mean, I heard from somebody that's been investing for the last 20 years and someone that's been investing for the last year, and they're both having similar experiences where they're blown away. So I've decided to open up my trust account and deposit my T-shilling into United Tanzanian Trust. And that's a great option. All right, Nisha, I see you behind stage. You just came out. I saw you, but I couldn't see your face, so I can't bring it up because I cannot get banned off of YouTube. Okay. So Nisha, I need you to go somewhere where I can actually see your face. Okay, I see you now, but the light in the background, I see you. So, okay, there you go. Just turn it around. All right, wonderful. So I'm gonna bring you up in a minute. Okay. Hi, Nisha. You have to unmute yourself. I
Can
can't
you hear
hear you. Yes, I can hear you now. Hi.
me? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just excited about the meeting. I'm gonna be here for sure, checking in.
Yes. What meeting? Which one?
Isn't it going to be this week about the saving and investment and all of that?
The Zanzibar.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that
I
one
just tuned
is,
in at the last minute, but I've been I subscribe. I'll be watching, from the minute when you first moved to Africa from America, you was on your blog, so it's
yeah.
good to see how far you came and that you're really sticking to it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that one is coming up. That's going to be the 21st to the 22nd,
Okay.
which is like, yeah, like 2 weeks away, not even. So you
Okay,
got your
so
ticket, your virtual ticket.
okay. Okay. For sure.
Awesome. So you have any questions or any concerns about anything that you want to ask? I'd love to hear that you're going to be
But
there.
how is it? How is it? How's the transition? Like, how are you doing now in Africa? Like, how are you doing? How's
How am I?
everything?
Everything's,
Yeah,
is more positive than negative. I'll say
that's
anything, I think when you're building anything, you have challenges, right?
right,
But I will say I will take Africa challenges all day over US challenges when I see kind of what's kind of happening right now. And it's not even about what's happening over there as much as the peace that I found over here and the lifestyle that I have now. Right. So I feel like I've gotten a flow where the business is thriving, people are getting help, people are getting value. Um, and my girls are good, they're happy, they're thriving. So yeah, it's good. The only thing I'm struggling with right now is this dry weather in Johannesburg. Got my skin itching because it's so dry, but that's really my only complaint.
So, how do you feel about just moving out there? Just say if you don't have anything, like no money, just nothing. How would you think that transition? Do you feel like it was better
You
to
can't do
be
that. I don't
financially?
recommend that.
No.
I don't recommend that. You wouldn't move to where you at now, Nisha?
So I'm in America, Texas.
In Texas, right? So you wouldn't move to from Texas to Cali with no money, would you?
I mean, honestly, I have thought about it, just getting up and leave.
I wouldn't recommend it. Um,
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it. I hear little noises in the background. You got babies?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. So I think we owe it to them as moms, especially when we are the sole providers most of the time, emotionally, right? Even if the dad is involved, which would be amazing, but like emotionally, they require so much from us. We're giving them everything. We need to be good. And the stress of moving somewhere and your money isn't right is a stress that our babies just don't deserve,
Right.
right? So you need to have your money right. Now that looks different for everybody. And I know some women that I've never met them in person. Have I? No, I've never met them in person that have moved with nothing. And I just don't recommend it because there is already such a process that you have to endure moving to the continent from the US. There is a spiritual process that happens. Like our cap our capture from this continent was very intentionally done, right? And so when we decide we want to reverse that by coming back, not every energy is proud of that. Now I say the majority of them are, right? And if you're a spiritual person, I don't know if you're Christian, Muslim, or just spiritual, or maybe But if you believe in a higher power and a higher source, you recognize that there's always good and there's evil as well.
Mm-hmm.
There can't be one without the other. So when you're making such a life-changing, transformative, uh, like generational shift, you have to know that there's going to be things that come with that. And money is oftentimes the thing that makes it so hard for people to stay. And so I just don't recommend that being another thing that you have to deal with.
Right.
I'm not saying you got to come with like six figures, but one of the tools that I have, and I'm gonna do something probably in November, like a free kind of webinar talk around how to figure out how much money you need.
That
Right.
would
So
be good. That would be so good. That would
yeah,
be.
I have it. It's a paid tool right now on my website called the Expat Expense. It's paid. It's like $89 and it will walk you through and it gives you the entire process, right? But I think I'm going to do a collective one for families, especially post-election, because I feel like it's just going to be a lot of energy in the air. People want to make some moves, regardless of who wins. Um, but it's important that you know, one, how much money you're spending right now everywhere, and you understand. um yeah, there's someone in the chat saying they want your information. I don't know how you want to safely share that. Shayna, maybe you can provide the resource that you actually have for single Black mothers with no money, because we want to make sure we're not connecting people to, you know, strangers. So if you have an actual website, you have an actual like something, because I'm very cautious of how I connect people and how I connect people to resources, because this is a very vulnerable situation to be in when you're a single mom, you have children, you have a desire to get out. Everybody is not going to be able to support you, and is everybody is not necessarily, you know, every your journey is not going to look like my journey. It's not going to look like everybody else's. So you just got to get um, really clear
How
on
do you
that and
feel
knowing.
about how do you feel about networking? Like, is it safe to network? Like, just how do you feel about just networking to maneuver your way out there?
Networking to maneuver your way. Yeah, for sure. She's saying,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, like get into like just networking, and you know how if you network and boom, you have no money, but there's a job offer out there that, how do you like that type of way?
So I am not an advocate of getting a job abroad. Now, there are opportunities for jobs, and sometimes I will list Fulbright scholarships. Also, a lot of times those are for people that are pursuing PhDs, or there's another opportunity. I forgot what it's called, but there's a video somewhere on my channel about there's it's age specific. You have to be within a certain age to be able to apply for these opportunities, um, which I think they are great gateways. I will say, do your research. You know, do your research. If you come across, South Africa does provide a lot of jobs, like the U.S. government, U.S.
Okay.
aid,
Okay.
but I don't tend to advocate for that, because the goal is really to be able to like create opportunities and not necessarily take jobs from locals. But US aid, the US government, they don't really hire, you know, they reserve a certain amount of jobs for US citizens.
Got
So
you. Okay. Okay.
so
That makes okay.
go on their websites and look. But in the meantime, like, this is really about you stacking your bread. Like, don't
Okay.
spend money on unnecessary things. Don't be, you know, you may have to stop getting your nails done. You may have to stop getting your hair done for a while. You may have to stop getting Starbucks or Uber Eats and cooking, like really cutting your spending so that you can start to save money towards your Africa plan, because you will be rewarded for that sacrifice. I can guarantee you will be rewarded. And then you could come here and you could get your nails done, you could go out to eat, you could do all that, and
Is there
you'll be in a better
certain
position.
I know you're in South Africa, but right, you're still in South Africa?
Yes.
Okay, so is that like one of the like when you're transit you feel like that is one of the best part of Africa to go to when you're coming from the US just because of the lang just being able to just I don't know, kind of work your way in instead of just going straight to Africa, like
I think it just depends. I moved to Tanzania for a reason. My reason was I needed to like seek joy. I did not work for 2 years. I was in a financial position to be able to do that.
mm,
Uh, and I was also spending so much less money in Tanzania. The cost of living was a lot less than the US. And I had saved and I had support, at the time initially. But I stacked my money even when I was this side. But I needed to be in places with nature. I needed to adventure. I liked hiking, so that's why I chose Tanzania. And I loved Tanzania for what it was. Then when I decided I wanted to go back to work, I wanted to be in an environment where I could feel like my skills were valuable and I could meet people that were interested in helping me navigate different opportunities all over the continent. And so I chose Johannesburg for that reason. But some people choose Nairobi, some people choose Accra, some people choose Marrakesh, some people choose, it just really depends on what's important to you. Um, in your destination. But I think you first need to start with your how much it's going to cost you
right,
and figuring out where and what's important to you. So those are really two
right,
important things. But the first thing is actually your why, right? Why do you want to do this? Because if you have a why that's strong enough, you'll do anything and everything because that why is so important.
right,
If it's your children, then are your children worth you sacrificing getting your nails and hair done, or cable, or Uber Eats,
right,
or that, whatever expenses that you're expending that aren't necessary,
right,
because everything will fall in line because the why is so important. And
right,
then start figuring out where you potentially want to go and understanding what the cost of living is there. Figure out your cost of living now, what you can cut, how you can start earning more money. So I'm doing a new product after all of these events where I can really talk you through that a lot more. So are you on my email list?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
what do I need to do?
So just go to let me type in Africa. Let me type in, it's in the link. Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I am.
On Instagram. The
A
link is there. It's also in the description. And you go and just sign up, put your email in one of my offerings. Yeah. Hi, young man. Hello, Prince. So yeah, go and just go ahead, sign up for my email. You'll get updates on when I'm releasing these new products. Also, when I'm doing the free calls on helping people figure out their freedom fund, right? What is going to cost you to get your freedom, essentially. Um, so you can live a life of ease. You deserve it, especially as a single mom. Your kids deserve you to be at your highest capacity with love, right? Your ability to not be stressed out, to not be feeling like you're paycheck to paycheck, to feel like you're not doing it by
exactly.
yourself.
Mm,
I've never felt more supported as a solo mom living. I've never felt it, right? The way that I feel here, the way that I mother here, I have so much support. I have
right,
community, I have family, and and these are friends turn family, spiritual family, and I actually have people that I can afford to pay a more than living wage, so that they can help me do the things in my house that I can't always do really well, so that I could show up 100% for my girls. And
right,
you are also worthy of that.
right.
All right. So I'm going to hop off. I'm going to let somebody else come up and ask their questions, but I really appreciate you joining.
Yes. Did you send me that link? I mean, the
Yes,
email.
It's in the comments, but if worst case scenario, you can find it in the
Can you drop it in
description.
the chat?
Hmm?
Can you drop it in the chat?
Yep, it's in the chat.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And nice to meet you.
Nice talking to you, Nisha.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me pop in here. Did I miss any questions? A says you have a business, you do tourism in the EU, in an EU country, interested in investing in South Africa or Tanzania. So join us. Join us at the Investor Summit virtually. I mean, I'm even looking at like, how do I create a tourism business a bit more efficiently in a way that doesn't add too much on my plate, just because the opportunity is there, right? And there are companies that are based here that are doing this already. And you can essentially, they're allowing us to white label their services, right? So you can work with a team that already provides 5-star tourism, white label, and build your own tourism business, right? Pay them what they're asking for, pay them their price that they ask for, and then charge accordingly for you to be profitable in your business and add value to the people in the way that you best add value. How do you add to your, what value do you bring that maybe the company that is performing, doing the work for you doesn't do, right? So for me, in my case, my partner, she's an expert at tourism. Like, this is what she does. Tanzania, that is her jam. What do I know how to do? I know how to connect people to people that have actually been good at doing things and taking action, right? And I also know how to talk about my own journey in investing, from doing really, traditional investments, from bonds, my 401k, my life insurance, then real estate, then failing at a coffee business and failing in real estate, being successful in real estate, being successful in tourism, being successful in digital products, right? So I get to add value to the community through that way. But if you have a tourism business and you are not taking people to Tanzania, you are missing out, because people want to go there. All right. So Shayna, I hope you can connect with Nisha. Please connect with her or share your Facebook group. Is my advice based only on American people? I mean, this is my experience as an American living abroad, right? So I can't really speak to the South African experience because I'm not South African, but I'm learning, right? So I'm sharing advice based on my experience, or not advice, information based on my experience. Tiffany says she's lived in Morocco for a year and it was great. SA was the first country you visited, but Morocco was where you lived because of job opportunity. Ooh, fantastic. In SA or Tanzania. Yep, in Tanzania. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining the live. If you found this valuable, please like it, share it with someone else who found value in it. I love chatting with you guys. Thank you, Nisha, for coming on. That's something new I'm trying. Yeah, so I would love to see you all virtually at the Investor Summit in Zanzibar. We're going to be talking about opportunities not only in Tanzania, but also East Africa, right? So we for sure want to see you there. The link is in the description. Also join my email list to get updates on the seminars that I'm going to have, the webinars that I'm going to have, just really teaching people how to get their freedom fund together, teaching you how to add on new skills to your repertoire so you can increase your earnings. We are living in a digital era. So, understanding AI is at our advantage, right? We have an advantage. AI is an advantage. We can use it positively to impact more people in a positive way, to share our passions, our talents with the world, right? And we can do that by creating businesses that give us location freedom, time freedom, and ultimately financial freedom, with an ability to impact the lives of others by creating opportunities and jobs in the countries where we decide to live. right? So I would love to see that for all of you. You are all worthy. Your nervous systems are worthy of peace. And I just want to tell you, have a fantastic rest of your weekend. If you found value in this content, I would love to see you online even more. And let me know, ask me questions. For those catching the replay, I'll try to respond to them as I can. But until the next video, thanks for joining. I'll see you soon.